Mm. On the vision of this greenhouse thing, is this your vision?
Yeah, it's something I started back in 2007, June 2007, but I had been thinking about it for many years about how do I get this started. I moved here to Hollywood in 2003 with this already kind of burning in my heart, and not wanting to just approach artists and artistry and entertainment from the spiritual side, which is really important, but realizing that to be a whole artist, like Karen was talking about, you also have to look at the creative and the intellectual and the emotional, the physical, the relational. All these things go into being a whole person. So we wanted to make sure that we're addressing each of those issues for the benefit of the artists that are coming through. And we do have about 100 that come every month. We have a meeting every month at CBS, but we've got about 3,500 on our list now. So it's really drawing from a real need that we're finding out there. Not just from Christians, but non-Christians. They're like, hey, there's got to be a better way to do this that's healthier and that feels more joyful. And we want to create that environment. And so far, it's been we've seen some good fruit out of that.
Out of the meetings at the CBS thing, what's that look like? What are those meetings? What goes?
Chaos.
Chaos. I'm just. We have this our buddy Martin that we were telling you about. I mean, he had a thing called Safe House, and he did it in a place real similar to your building here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, it was. It could have been chaos at sometimes or whatever, but it seemed it definitely wasn't orchestrated or organized. You know, we always broke bread together. There was people bringing potluck kind of stuff, and it was pretty much an open forum. Christian, non-Christian, people from all walks of life, usually attracted creative people. But we kind of, in a way, we kind of had like a church, you know, in a real intimate kind of setting. People felt safe to share and just kind of explore what's going on with inside them, and felt a forum for people that would actually listen and paying attention, where they went, you know, like, how you doing? I'm fine. And that was kind of the typical thing. It's like when you asked how you doing there, you know, people actually kind of really shared with you, or at least they felt like they could, and you're like, whoa. So when you ask somebody how they're doing in that situation, you kind of prepared to hear some crazy stuff going on, good, bad, weird, wacky, spiritual, angry, whatever. So I don't know if that's similar kind of a deal.
You know, we're not a church, although we recognize that a lot of the format, or at least the structure, follows healthy patterns, which the church is supposed to be. So that's what we're trying to create, a very life-giving thing. So our Sunday nights, once a month, the first Sunday of each month, we have a speaker come in, sometimes a Christian, sometimes not, doesn't matter. We can learn from them. We can learn something new from them.
A speaker from the industry.
From the
who's
industry,
been here for years and years.
And we'll just talk about the different aspects, all that long list that I mentioned to you. We want to find out, because a lot of organizations ask the question, how do I make it in Hollywood? That's an interesting question, but it's not the most interesting question. The most interesting question is, how can I be an effective artist? Because if we can answer that question, Hollywood's success may follow or it may not, but you're still going to get a sense of fulfillment because you're living out who you were created to be. So there's a lot of encouragement at these meetings. We have contests, like the next contest we have is a cell phone camera contest, where they have to make a movie on a cell phone camera. That's all they're allowed to use. A lot of different creative ideas, just to get that creativity flowing and get them collaborating. We want them working together. We want them finding ways to be creative artists and living that out.
Neat, man.
Yeah, and we really set up a structure around, like you said, it's not okay, here's the format. It's very much, okay, what do we need to accomplish, or what will bring life to people, and how can we best do that, and then what would be a good platform to put with that, and be willing to take down walls if we need to and build them elsewhere. So it's not here's the structure, let's go, but it's been very much a movement, which has been beautiful. And at the meetings, you know, we have it's very family oriented. We have a very large leadership team, so it's our goal that nobody stands alone, that nobody does feel like, oh, I'm an outsider, but everybody's coming and targeting people and then following up with them throughout the month and create. So it feels like a family, even though the bigger you grow, it's harder to keep that. We want it to be very family oriented, and then and then encourage people to be artistic and creative. Because you come out here, and the statistics are, you're here for 5 years before you do it. You understand the industry. You're here for 10 years before you actually do anything. So, you're here for 10 years waitressing or working at Starbucks or just doing something to survive.
Wearing a costume down there.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that happens too.
Oh,
Yes.
so sad.
Those guys are making some pretty good money, though.
I'm sure.
I was like, look at that Elmo. He's banking.
Yeah. It's maybe not as much as what you think.
Yeah.
So it's so hard, and that's where we can give an outlet for people to still be creative and still grow and to thrive here and not just survive.
Yeah, we want to get people past their survival mode, which is what most people are doing in Hollywood.
Just trying to do.
There are a bunch of orphans running around. They don't have, their parents aren't here. They don't have anybody, no family that they really are a part of. So we want to get them past that and into a setting where they actually thrive. And we have a number of different programs that we use. One that we started a few years ago called the production program, where we actually provide films for the different people to work on. And so we're going into our next season of that this fall and hoping to get those films funded and partnering with other organizations that want to come and be a part of that artistic process.
And that helps put some money in people's pockets too. Like if they want to work at it, they get paid.
We don't actually pay them because it is a nonprofit, and we don't. As a 501c3, we're not able to pay everybody. But one of the problems that a lot of people have as artists is that they come out here, they have little, if any, experience, and so they're just wandering around trying to find a job, but they don't have a resume to back it up. So we're able to give them work where they can say, hey, I worked on this greenhouse film.
Gotcha.
And here's my demo reel to show what I've done, my portfolio, and it's not just film. We've had musicians come through. We had a guy who is now living in Dallas, Texas, who was a composer who did a premiere of a composition that he had done at the greenhouse. So different aspects of just really encouraging people not only to have community, which is one half of it, but then to apply the things that they know, so that they're growing as artists in a very holistic sort of way.
We want to totally move to Hollywood now.
Hey, come on out,
We love that.
If we didn't have these teenage kids that go, oh, we gotta miss our friends and all that stuff, we would like
Bring
totally.
the friends, it's all good.
We would be here and live in your basement or something and clean your whole place here and
Just the
do
parking
your.
lot. We love that.
Yeah, we just park our bus in your
Well,
parking
I
lot.
will say this, and that the church, to a large extent, has not understood Hollywood. In the mythology of Hollywood, the mystique of Hollywood, is everything is bad and there's a lot of sin and greed and all the junk, and that's true. There is that. But there are a ton of godly people out here. People who really want to do the right thing. Hollywood's not out to destroy America. They just want to. They got a business to run, and they want to influence and get their ideas out there. And so the worst thing that the church can do is to back off from Hollywood. We need to re-engage in Hollywood and support the people who are out here. The church, the business people would start coming behind the artists who are here and say, hey, here's some money, let's make a film, or here's some money, let's make a CD, or whatever it may be.
Or here's some money, why don't you go eat dinner?
Yeah, that's important too, because so many people come out here, thousands, and about 2% end up making it through a year. The rest either go home, or they wind up on the streets, or in the porn industry, or sucked into some weird cult, or whatever it is. And if the church will step up and engage, not just in Hollywood, but in the arts as a whole, in the mainstream, we have the opportunity to affect not only the artists themselves, but the people who the artists are impacting. We feed into their lives, they feed into the lives of our culture. So it's really imperative that we're a part of this process.
Amen. Awesome. Well, before I end with you guys, can you guys give me just so people at home or people watching this thing can know how they can either contribute, website stuff, what's going on with you guys, what's the best way to find out what's going on with y'all here in Hollywood and what y'all are doing?
We have 2 websites that we run. The first one is HollywoodConnect.com, and there's tons of information, especially for artists on there. So if there's an artist who's watching this, or that an artist and you can pass it along to them, it's just a great way to find other people who are in the arts and find information, especially those who are thinking about coming out here to Hollywood, but just in general. people who are actors and writers, etc. The other one is greenhouseproductions.com, which is the main greenhouse page, and it has all the different events that we're doing and just tons of stuff. We're looking at starting an art review magazine, so people from elsewhere can send in their art and be a part of the process as well. And then the third one, Karen can tell you about, is Hollywood Prayer Network, which she's also a part of and which I volunteer with.
Yeah, a Hollywood Prayer Network is an organization that we partner with to really help people grow spiritually. And so we encourage people to pray for Hollywood. And when you're
Amen.
here, we have, right now we have about 5,000 industry professionals that we know of that are Christians. And our goal is to have every one of them have an intercessor, praying for them, encouraging them. So we have about 1,500 of them covered in prayer. And so we're continuing to move forward, but we love having people, if they just have a heart to pray for Hollywood, we encourage them to do that. But then also, if you want to pray specifically for an industry professional, email them, contact them. We have you fill out a short application, and then I will match you with an industry professional. And then it's great for the intercessor because they can learn more about, oh, this is what Hollywood is. This is the struggles that the artists go through. It's not just the magazines that come out. Actually, magazines usually are not very true to what Hollywood is saying. So that's at HollywoodPrayerNetwork.org, and you can
Sweet.
find out more information about that on their website.
Yeah, we really need your prayers here in Hollywood.
Cool.
Because it's frontline work. It's tough work. We're not out to change Hollywood or change. We just want to love people here and help them wherever they are. So
Awesome.
we need your prayers. We need your even financial support. If this is something that God puts on your heart, there's ways to donate at any of those websites. And
Right on.
we really appreciate that as your brothers and sisters here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Cool.
And as everyone joins together, we will see content changed and the culture impacted positively because as people's hearts change, then
The art
then
changes.
The art changes.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. God bless you.
You too.
Bye.